Okay, hello everybody. I am Bertrand Roubaud. I'm working by Cybelec and I'm a technician in the technical support. Thanks to be online this afternoon to follow this webinar about CybTouch. If you have questions during the webinar, you can write your questions in the chat and I will reply at the end of my presentation. Okay, so today we will speak about the CybTouch, press brake and shears. So I will show you the hardware, how to program a part, and how to introduce parameters. And you can see on the screen the different dates about our next webinar. We will have until end of April. Okay, this is our current CybTouch range for press brake. So from CybTouch 8P to CybTouch 15PS Win, our new product. I will show you the difference between the different models. So we have two models to manage conventional press brake. So CybTouch 82P and 83PE. So with the first one, you can manage Y and X. And you can manage press brake in mode P and PL. And with the second one, you can manage Y, X, and R, and P mode, PL mode, and PC mode. For both models, you can have an option to have graphical 2D. And now this is our CybTouch range for synchro press brake. So we have these different models. So the first one, you can manage 3 or 4 axes, and all mode available. So P, PC, PL, PS, and PSS. With the second one, with a larger screen, the CybTouch 12PS, you can manage Y1, Y2, X, and R. So you have 4 axes. And for this model, you have all mode available. And with the CybTouch 15PS and PSE, okay, you can add Z1 and Z2 with a MVA model. And with this CybTouch, all modes are available. With these 3 CybTouch, okay, you can transfer a part and load the parameters with a USB key. The software is based on a Cybelec platform. And you can update the software and load the parameters on your computer with the CybTouch tools. And now we have the new CybTouch 15PS Win. So this CybTouch is based on Windows 10. So you have more possibilities. So you have an USB port, and you can connect the machine on the internet. And you can manage drives with CanOpen or EtherCAT. But with this model, you have only the mode PS and PSS. And you can manage up to 6 axes with the MVA model. And for this one, you don't need the CybTouch tool, so but you have tools inside the HMI, and you have the possibility to have an access with TeamViewer to have a remote control of the machine. So it's a major improvement. So with this CybTouch, you can have a remote control and more possibilities with more options. The different options. So you have 2D graphical. So it's an optional with CybTouch 8, but it includes in CybTouch 12 and 15. And with 15 PS Win, you have the new 2D with more improvements. So you can have hemming tools and hemming band in 2D, for example, preband. So more options in 2D. Automatic band seconds is optional. CybTouch 8, 12, and 15 PSE, but including 15 PS and PS Win. Okay, so you have the options to manage machine in tandem mode. And for CybTouch 15 PS, you have different options. So you can add bending head and cheat support, and a plugin to have Industry 4.0 communications. And we have a new option called X-axis calibration. If you want to adapt the calibrations of the axis, if the ball screw is used, for example, so you can improve the calibrations of the axis. So now different tools with CybTouch. So we have CybTouch tools to connect to the CybTouch. And now I will show you how it's intuitive to program the different parts on the CybTouch. And it's the same for all the product. So we have a simulator I will show you. So this is our simulator for press brake. So it's an example with a CybTouch 15. So you have the possibility to load the parameters from the machine. So it's a good system. If your customer have a problem, you can load the machine parameters and check them on your computer. On this part, you can see the digital input and the digital output. And just below, you have the analog input. If you don't have this tool on your computer, it's possible to send me an email at the end of this webinar, and I can give you the license to use it. So you have the possibility to index a machine. And now I can create a new program. I can choose if I want a numerical or graphical program. So for example, a numerical program, I just need to select my punch and my die, and then the angle. Then the bending length. and I can press start, and the axis X will move. And then I can simulate, okay, the main pedal. Okay, so this procedure is the same on the machine. I can start again with, sorry, with a graphical program. I just need to select my different tools and the bending length. If necessary, I can change the materials. And then with the touch profile, I can draw my part. I can modify the different value. And then I can set the bend order. Or it's possible to use the automatic calculation. And then I can press start to bend my part. I can check the value in the numerical page. And bend my part. So it's very easy to program a part. For your customer, it's not need to have a long explication. I can show you about the parameters. So you can go in the other menu, service, and machine parameters. Then you have all parameters. In a few weeks, we will have another webinars to show you how to set the different parameters. But for example, for the axis X, we have these tools, so the wizard, and you can set automatically the axis. We can move the axis in positive and negative, and you can say, okay, if the axis moves direct in the correct direction, so we can set yes. If you know the encoder resolutions, you can set the axis limit, plus and minus, and then the identification. And your axis is automatically set. And these tools you will have on all Cybelec products, so CybTouch and VDTouch. And you have a tool so for the axis. And for example, to set the pressure. And we have also tools to configure the beam. But I suggest you to check the planning and to follow our next webinars dedicated to the startup of the machine and how to use the different tools inside our software. Okay, so it's very easy to program the different part and to understand the different settings. So for all CybTouch except CybTouch 15 PS, we have a tool called CybTouch tools. So with this tool, it's possible with the air filling key to connect directly on the CybTouch. So with these tools, you can backup and restore the data. So you can have a backup on your computer. It's also possible to do this backup on a USB key, but with the tools, you can do it easily. It's possible to update the software with these tools. But just be careful. So it's a little bit sensitive. So switch off your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth to use it. So with the CybTouch tools, you can back up the machine parameters, the different tools, the different parts. You can also record beam trace during the startup of the beam, so you can see the different signals, and you can update the software. Just be sure before to use it to have the last software versions. So you will have the correct version according to your hardware. And if necessary, an update will be done at startup of the software. I just show you before the simulator for PC. So with the same software as the numerical control, with possibility to simulate the different axes and the beam cycle. So don't hesitate to contact me if you want to use it on your computer. So numerical control machine parameters can be imported. I just show you before. And this software is free of charge, but only used for support. So it's not useful for your end user. For your end user, we have an offline software. And with this offline software, it's possible to create parts and transfer to your CybTouch. So this tool is available for CybTouch 8W and 8G and CybTouch 12G, and also for CybTouch 8PS, 12PS, and 15PS. So inside the software on your CybTouch, you have the possibility to do a backup, an internal backup. So if there is a problem, your customer is able to restore this backup. And I suggest you to remember your technician or you to do this backup at the end of the startup, because of a lot of machines don't have this backup. And when there is a problem, it's too late to do it. So now we have a new product. So it's a CybTouch 15PS Win. So this is the new CybTouch based on Windows 10. So with the new possibilities. So it's a semi-compact control. The CNC is on the board on the back of the screen. We have the possibility to have a remote control and maintenance. For example, with TeamViewer. We already installed TeamViewer Quick Support inside the control. And it's possible to connect the machine on the network and to use a program to connect with Industry 4.0. So this is a 15-inch glass surface touchscreen. And it's possible to manage up to 6 axes, analog or digital. So you have the possibility to connect CanOpen or EtherCAT drives. And you have the possibility to have specific axes like bending heads, sheet support. And also you have the 2D graphical touch profile. So we have now the new 2D included inside the CybTouch. And it's possible to have to see 3D part with our 3D viewer. And inside the new 2D software, we improve the automatic bending seconds with more possibilities. And for your customer, it's possible to use the offline software and transfer the part to your CybTouch. About the different tools, so you don't need to use CybTouch tools because the different tools are included inside the HMI. So for example, you can back up the machine parameters, tools, and part. You can record beam trace directly, and you can update the software. Like another software compatible with Windows. And with the offline software, you have the possibility to load the machine parameters to have the same configurations in your office. And you can create parts in the office and transfer them to the numerical control. This is the end of my presentations about CybTouch for press brake. Now I will show you CybTouch control for the shears. So for shears, we have 3 models: the CybTouch 8W, 8G, and 12G. So the main difference on 8W and 8G is with 8W, it's not possible to modify the angle and the cutting length with a potentiometer. And for the CybTouch 12G, we have the possibility to have up to 4 axes for back gauge and the front gauge. So we have 2 models, so one for the swing and one for the guillotine shears. Okay, and like all CybTouch, so you have just a touch screen. It's possible to control blade gap and angle. And with the CybTouch 8 and G, CybTouch 8W and 8G, you have the possibility to manage one back gauge or a front gauge. Okay, you can see the difference on both model. So with the CybTouch 8G, you have 2 encoder input and 2 analog input, but you can manage only one electrical axis. This table is on our datasheet, but you can see the different and the different possibility to manage the cutting length, the gap 1, gap 2, and back of front gauge. So the back gauge or front gauge is only managed with an encoder. And the blade gap only managed with the potentiometers. And about the cutting length, you can manage it with encoder or potentiometers. Or if you want, you have the possibility with 8W, but with a timer. And we have also CybTouch 12G, so with a larger screen and the possibility to manage 4-axis, front or back gauge. So like our CybTouch for press brake, so it's easy to program or to configure. So you have in standard EasyCut page. But you just need to manage, okay, the thickness and the cutting length. You just need to start the pump. And then you have the possibility to start with a digital input, so with a pedal. And like on, if you compare with CybTouch for press brake, you have the same menu to configure it. And you have the same tools to configure the electrical axis, for example, with the wizard. So it's the same system. You have also the different part. And for the input output, it's the same on all machines. So you can set the different input or output according what you need. For example, I can add to start the pump. If I want to add an hardware button, for example, it's the same for the output and for the analog input, output, and encoder. So it's possible to have this simulator on your computer too. You have the same tools to load the machine parameters. And in page maintenance, so service, and maintenance, you have the possibility to do the internal backup. It's the same for the press brake. So you can set if you want to backup or restore. So I want just to backup. Oh, sorry. Okay, and now the CybTouch will automatically restart. Now, okay, the internal backup is done, and you have the date of the last one. Okay, thanks for your attention. I don't know if you have some questions.